welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Wendy Yi, and you get a whole week of Q&As. Aren't you excited about that? Even a little bit excited? Okay, well, I'm a little bit excited about the Q&A. Let me scroll down the chat a little bit, check it out. So anything that Chris said about me yesterday is probably a lie, so don't believe any of that. And yeah, what are we gonna talk about today? I'm excited. I got my phone, so I can look up any of your weird questions. I have my Tal water bottle right here, non-Stanley. Okay, can someone please explain to me what this Stanley water bottle craze is? Like, I've always carried a water bottle because I'm from Las Vegas. It's a desert. I mostly just drink water. That's like basically the only liquid that I drink. Are we good?
Your shirt's rustling a bunch.
Ooh, I'm wrestling.
Just use it when you Here, turn it off.
Let me turn it off so you all don't have crazy intense. All right, we back? We back? We good? Okay, apparently I was bumping the cable with my arm because I speak too much with my hands. So let me peek through this chat real quick. Monica needs to pop over to the store. All right, Monica. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, everybody. Alrighty, let's get started with this Q&A. Oh yeah, first, someone tell me, explain this whole Stanley water bottle thing. I don't get it. It's a water bottle. Like, there's a bajillion out there. Why Stanleys? Please explain. I'm not trendy in any way, and I don't understand. I don't understand trends. Is it just cool? Like, is that the whole point of it? Is it just cool? Let me know. Okay, starting with DJ Dan. What is the most rewarding part of being a reviewer? What is the hardest part? I'd say the most rewarding part, let me ponder on that. Okay, well, the hardest part for sure is deciding on the score, because there's so much entailed in that number that, like, people are so defined by that moment. And so it's like, how do I separate all of the outside stuff that doesn't have to do with the game? You know what I mean? The experience, the players, all of that. How do I remove that so that I can really focus in on what I love about this game or what I dislike about this game? And so I try to come up with concrete facts instead of just like loosey-goosey thoughts about it, like, oh, it was a little bit longer, oh, it was, you know. I try not to do that. Okay, well, that still happens, but I try not to make that the bulk of my score. I try to find specific reasons why I did like or didn't like a mechanism. And a lot of that is very internal for me. So I try to figure out what my tastes are specifically, because that, I think, is more useful to you all as viewers to know exactly what my taste is. And if I can explain why it fits or doesn't fit my taste, then maybe you as a reviewer or as a viewer can then look at it and say, okay, well, I know I align with Wendy, or I know I don't align with Wendy, and this is why. So maybe I will like the game, maybe I won't like the game because of those specific things. So I think that's the hardest part. I think the benefit, though, the positive, is that I know that you all don't have to go through that same amount of work as I do. Also, I really enjoy playing games, and I just get to play games all the time. So I'm one of those people that I don't love researching future games. I just want to play them. I don't want to, I'm one of those that, like, every once in a while I'm like, oh yeah, I should go on BGG and see what's hot right now. Maybe I should do that, because I just forget. Like, that's not what I naturally want to do. I don't naturally go like, ooh, I want to see what all the Kickstarters and game founds are. I want to go explore. I want to look ahead. No, I'm just one of those that, like, in the moment, does this game look good? Yes, let's play it. If it doesn't, no, let's not play it. So I think that's been an interesting part of this job, actually, for me, is having to be a little bit more cold to the new and having to project ahead and make those lists of, like, what are my most anticipated games of next year? I think, I don't know. Let me go through and see what even is going to come out next year, because that's just not something that I naturally want to invest my time in. And so it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's been good for me. And at the same time, mostly I'm just like, hey, Chris, what are you interested in? Because he loves that part, right? He loves looking ahead. He loves knowing what the hot goss is and like all that kind of stuff when it comes to the upcoming games. And I was like, yeah, okay. So there you go. That's the rewarding parts. I don't know what the Tomcat and the Dice Tower Mice are dancing on the table is about. Have I ever felt about like making a little game of my own? Once again, not the thing that I want to spend my time on. I'm a consumer. I'm a consumer of media. I'm a consumer of books. I'm a consumer of games. Like, I'm just a consumer. I love creating visual things and artistic things, and I like plowing through and trying to figure out how stuff works. But I don't necessarily want to be the person that makes stuff work, if that makes sense. I don't want to be the person to design a board game necessarily, but I enjoy, like Chris throws around a lot of ideas and he likes fiddling with design. I enjoy playing his stuff and thinking about it and kind of figuring out how the mechanisms work and, you know, is this making sense? Is this fun? Like, I enjoy that side of it, but the actual, like, let me come up with an idea out of nowhere. I don't know, that's not me. Even with like, I paint miniatures, I don't paint canvases. I don't come up with like the initial idea of like what I'm gonna put on a canvas or anything like that. Like, no, you give me a miniature, it's a concrete structure that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick what colors I wanna use and I'm gonna pick how I want it to look. But I don't know. I'm not the initial idea person. I'm the, give me a cool idea and I wanna run with it and I wanna make it awesome. I'm that kind of person. Do I have the same taste in music? No, actually. This was an emotional thing for me when we were first dating, as I was like, Chris is so adamant about what music he does like and doesn't like, and I just kind of like everything. There's obviously some things that I don't lean towards, or it depends on the mood I'm in, but music is not one of those things that I like research. Like, I love performing music. I love to sing. I love to play piano. I loved studying music theory. Once again, how stuff works. Like, I want to know how things work. I loved that. But like, I don't necessarily dig deep into like what genres I love and that kind of stuff. And so it's interesting because early on I was like, oh, I love the Wicked soundtrack. Like, that just was one of the CDs I owned as a teenager. I loved it. And Chris hated it. He hated it. He actually went and saw it with me. He's very, very appeasing and kind in that way. And he was just like, oh, that's garbage. And I was like, what? This is one of my favorite albums right now. And I took it to heart, and it just was funny because I've learned that Chris is just adamant about music and I'm not. As for metal, he's expanded my horizons so much, which is great. I've learned about so many more bands that I just didn't know because I didn't grow up with that kind of stuff. That was not really a thing that my parents liked, so therefore I didn't listen to it. So it's cool that I feel like I've learned more. There's definitely a lot that I should know at this point in our marriage that I just still don't. I think more of the stuff that we align with is more like Billy Joel. Like, he introduced me to Billy Joel and I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is my jam. So really like that. I really enjoy Bare Naked Ladies. Those are some of my favorites that I want to listen to. So yeah, we're not necessarily the same taste, but also we don't disalign. I'm also way more into pop than he is. And my daughter right now is my Spotify DJ. So she's the one who picks all the music in the car most of the time. And so we're listening to all these popular people that I don't even know. Like, let me pull up my Spotify list and I'll tell you what my daughter is making me listen to right now. We have, I'm just going to try to play. We have Neoni, Neoni. Anybody heard of Neoni? We have the Haschak Sisters. How do you pronounce that? Haschak Sisters. I guess they're like 4 teenage girls that have now kind of grown up, but they sing songs together. So it's all about like growing up as a teenager, and like some of them like boys, but some of them don't like boys yet. It's very young. We've been listening to Tortured Poets Department. What is this Wars in Wonderland? I have to figure out what this is. Oh, that's Neoni. Okay. Apparently my daughter's really into Neoni right now. I don't know who that is, but I apparently heard some of the music. So there you go. That's where I'm at with music in life. Taylor Swift all the way, baby. Okay. Other people also don't know about the Stanley water bottles. Thank you very much. My favorite gluten-free snacks for game day. Well, I love Cadbury eggs. Okay, Wingspan got me on the Cadbury egg thing, right? So every time it's Easter, I get one of those giant bags from BJ's or Sam's Club or Costco or whatever of the Cadbury chocolate mini eggs. Those are a great game snack because they're not messy, right? That's a huge issue. But then also, they're not one that I chew because they've got a harder shell than an M&M, and honestly, I wish the shell was thinner. But they have a hard shell, and so it's more one that I just kind of like stick in my mouth and let it hang in there for a while. So those are really good for game day snacks, gluten-free, baby. And then, I don't know, I feel like a lot of like snacky foods, like if you go chips and stuff, which is messy, but those are gluten-free. We have a snow cone machine. So you know how Tom got his snow cone machine? Well, it was like Black Friday a couple weeks later, so we got a snow cone machine. So I'm snow cones all the way. If you take Kool-Aid packets and sugar and water and stuff, you can make your own syrup for dirt cheap, like cents per snow cone. So that's fun. So we have snow cones a lot. Yeah, I like good snacks. Good snacks. Lara bars are also a great snack for me. Also, I'm a chocolate with cheese fan. Like, eat your chocolate and your cheese together because it's like the salty and the sweet combined. I don't know, they balance each other out. Okay. Haha, name a game that you're really excited that is coming out this year and next year. I told you, I don't know. I don't know. What game am I excited about? Now I feel like I have to go on to BGG hotness for this. Okay, let me look at BGG real quick. Let me see. What am I excited about? I'm just excited about whatever it is. What is the next Devere game? We played Sand. There's another Devere game. Here, let me look at my top 10 anticipated. I have to keep spreadsheets of all this because do I remember any of it? No. Here we go. My top anticipated of 2024. What did I have on there? Oh yeah, Daitashi. Okay, that one I'm excited about. Philharmonics. That one sounds cool because I like the musical theme. Once again, I am very musical. I want to say that I'm not musical. I'm very musical. I like more, like I sang in choir for years and years and years and years and years. So I love vocal music. I love singing to music on the radio that I can harmonize with. I'm one of those obnoxious people that is probably terrible for everybody else to listen to, but I love singing, like whatever the song is, if I can harmonize to it, I probably want to listen to it because that's fun. Yeah, ooh, karaoke's a blast too. I've been karaokeing lately with some friends and it's been fun. It's been way fun. Levitate is my go-to karaoke song right now. Okay, have I played the Boone Lake expansion yet? No. Oh, that's what I'm excited about. That is what I'm excited about, the Boone Lake expansion. I just played it again recently at the Big Game Bash in Fort Myers, and oh, I love it. I love it so much. Let's see. Okay, Loopy says, beyond its function as a high-quality cup, the Stanley tumbler has become the trendy fashion accessory for Gen Z girls. These products are also visible by others, so buyers can feel excited. Seeing celebrities and friends alike using the same products, this provides validation through social proof. Okay, so it's just trendy for the sake of being trendy, which I'm not trendy for the sake of being trendy. Aren't they like 40 or 50 bucks? Like, I feel like water bottles have gotten more expensive in the last few years. Like, we're talking doubling in price. But then to have like a $40 water bottle, that's a lot. Chris loves the hot goss, says a liar. Are you calling me a liar? I thought Chris was the liar. I'm a liar. Did I ever get to paint the droids in the Clone Wars pandemic? No. No, my laundry list, I have such a laundry list of painting because I paint like 2 hours a week. So I have a huge list of games to paint for the Dice Tower library. Right now I'm working on the game that has a 3000. It's a space game. It has a 3000 at the end. I don't remember what it is. I don't even know how to look it up. But it's a pretty hot game right now. Let's see. Oh, Mike thought that they were annoying to paint. I was just gonna throw a contrast paint on them. That was my plan, Mike. But they are tiny. There's something about doing something tiny, but if you take Ticky Tack and you put a whole bunch of them on a thing, and then you can just, I don't know, paint them all. Let's see, what else we got here? Okay, what did I do for a living before working at the Dice Tower? I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 or 5 years. And then I worked at a private elementary school with, seriously, they had 25 kids. Like, they had like no kids at all in this school. It was amazing. It was this tiny little school. You knew absolutely everybody. It was great. So I worked at this little private school as the school aide. So I've worked for all the teachers. I did all their bulletin boards. I did a lot of their grading. I taught a math class. I did a lot of just a lot of stuff. I love jobs where I get to wear tons of hats and do lots of different things. So that was great. And then before that, I worked with adults with disabilities in a day program in their art department. And then before that, I worked with kids with autism for many years as an ABA therapist. That was before you had a lot of real training. This sounds terrible, but before insurance was included, so I didn't have to go through all the classes and stuff before. I was just trained on job. I imagine that it's probably, you get better training these days, and that was something I wish that I had. Let's see. Mike Heller says, contrast paints is your friend on minis like them. Yes, yes, contrast paint is my friend, definitely. Okay, so last year at Gen Con, that's where I get all my paints, is I just buy paints when I go to Gen Con. And last year I bought some yellow that was contrast, but it doesn't actually contrast, so it's liquidy, and I guess it seeps into the pores, but it doesn't really have the high. It's just kind of all the same color. So that was interesting. It worked a little bit different. This is funny. My boyfriend literally lost a friend because he criticized her music. I said funny. That's not funny. It's actually sad. She got so upset that she basically stopped talking to him. That's so sad. That's so sad. I'm glad I didn't stop talking to Chris. That would be mighty, mighty sad. Kabuki Kid, not into pop. That's okay. That's okay. See, pop I can sing a lot to. A lot of the rocks, like the heavy metal stuff, I can't sing harmony to. That's not an option. I also grew up listening to a lot of new age stuff, like Yanni and Anya, or Enya, however you pronounce it. Enya, right? Yeah, that kind of stuff. I really enjoy playing some piano pieces that are more new agey. I'm very intermediate piano. I'm self-taught, but because I have a theory background, I think I'm a little better off than some self-taught people on piano. I'm not amazing, and I don't have the history of playing scales and stuff. And so my precision there is lacking, but I can play most of the hymns in the hymn book of church kind of thing. So I'm very intermediate in that regard. Okay, what is this, Violent Frog? What is this Minecraft parody songs? Is that they take songs from Minecraft and parody them? Because the Minecraft songs are very backgroundy. Or are they parodies, are they songs about Minecraft? They take modern songs and they make them about Minecraft. That I'm curious about. Ooh, am I out of focus? I am kind of out of focus. Huh. How do I fix that? I thought these were auto-focusing cameras. I wonder if it's focusing on the computer. If I put that out of screen, is that gonna self-focus me? Did that fix it? Ooh, I think that fixed it. Okay, less out of focus. Fixed it. Okay, Kabuki Kid said that the Cadbury eggs are fine, the mini ones, but the cream eggs are nasty. I've never had the cream eggs, but they don't look appetizing. They look sickening sweet. Like it looks like liquid frosting on the inside, and that's not what I want. I want the chocolate. I am all about the chocolate. In fact, recently I started, do you know how like you have like the Ghirardelli bars that are like 90% dark chocolate? Well, those are kind of pricey, but Walmart has their off-brand version that is still like a really good chocolate. And they have like the 72, 85, 90, I don't know, weird numbers. I don't understand the percentage numbers. And then they also have like a 65% or something like that that has little crispy caramels in it. I have been super digging those because I love dark chocolate. And they have like an orange peel one, which I'm not always into orange, but I did like the orange peel one. So there we go. Those are even better than the Cadbury eggs. Oh, this is great. If I had to replace both hands with either ladles or slotted spoons, which one would I choose? I would, ladles or slotted spoons? Ladles are an awkward size. So if we're talking about like the ladle that is like very round, I don't like that shape. Whereas the like more gentle oval shaped slotted spoon would be easier to pick stuff up with. So I imagine I would go for that. Also, there's not a lot of things in life that I need to cup water in my hands for. Or some sort of liquid in my hands. Also, if I were cooking and I needed to like strain rice and those kind of things, I feel like the slotted spoon would make more sense. 4 hands. Now, how am I picking up the rice bucket? Nobody knows. Nobody wants to know. Somebody else can do that for me. But I feel like there would be more uses for the slotted spoon one. The problem I think that I would have is when the slats are too big. Can I have slotted spoons that decrease and increase in size of slots? Is that possible? Like, can I have a setting? Am I just an AI person and I just have a setting in my brain that I'm like, please tighten up the slats? That would be great. Oh, I would love that. Ooh, any snacking tragedies where a snack ruined a game piece? I was at Meepleville once. It wasn't my snack, but someone spilled Coke all over a game board, and that was just a tragedy because that place is all about having food with games, right? So Tim knows, like, he knows people are going to get food on his games, and it was fine, but I just think like, oh, that's stressful. Just knocking over like an entire Coke. Ugh. Ooh, Kabuki Kid, not all about that cheese and chocolate, huh? It's good, even in the same bite. Like a chocolate chip with a piece of cheddar cheese. Oh, delicious. My favorite cheese, this is a side note, completely random, but my favorite cheese is Monterey Jack. I actually am not a big cheddar fan. Cheddar is one of my lower level cheeses. I love Monterey Jack. That is my everything cheese. I want to melt it on stuff. I want to snack on stuff. Like, that's the cheese I buy. I do like American, like a good quality American on eggs. And I'm okay with grilled cheese sandwiches, but I have to be in the mood. Once again, it has to be a good quality American. Don't give me any of that Kraft single stuff. That tastes weird. Or Velveeta. Meh. But then my other cheese I really like is I do like Munster melted, but I don't like Munster not melted, if that makes sense. And then I feel like Swiss is just the weird cheese. Swiss is very weird. Like, it's almost sweet. It's like a very mild, sweet, unique flavor. So Swiss is interesting, but I have to be in the mood for it. Otherwise it like is very jarring. So there you go. Those are my opinions on cheese that nobody wanted to know, nobody cared and asked for, but now you have it. Joey, massive olives on tacos craze. Yes, yes. I'm okay with the olives on tacos. I see where Joey's coming from. I did try it. It's definitely got to be the green olives. Don't bring me the black olives. Black olives are for eating plain or for sticking with tuna. And I don't even really do that much. Monica's also excited about Philharmonic. Sweet! Let's get that one played when it comes. Oh, that's so sad. Vintage drip salsa all over vintage D&D module. Ooh, that's so sad. Ugh. If it was just on like a miniature, you can wash a miniature, but you can't wash the whole module. That's very, very sad. This is why I don't own expensive things, because I always break them. I always mess them up. Food gets everywhere. It's a mess. I'm a mess. I'm an alto. I sang soprano for many, many years. Okay, so this is the thing, is all the women in my family progressively through our life get really deep voices. Am I out of focus again? I am out of focus again. Goodness gracious. This camera. Let me sit here. If I lean forward like this the whole time, it'll be in focus maybe. I'm gonna try moving the camera, sorry y'all. If I move it this way, maybe it'll focus better. We good? Okay, we try that. Okay, so all the women in my family end up getting really deep voices. So my grandmother sang baritone, my mom sings tenor, cannot sing alto. Like that's what I mean, like deep voices. So growing up when I was in choir, I had a better range for alto, but I forced myself to sing soprano so I wouldn't lose my high range like all the other women in my family had. But then when I finally did sing alto, I was like, oh, this is so much better. So much better. Plus learning to sing harmonies is fun. And sure enough, like my voice is getting lower and lower. Like I can sing a C below middle C. I think I fixed it, Chris. So I can sing like a C below middle C, which is pretty low. But I can get up higher. The problem is that I have this weird buzz in my voice where when I get up to like a D and an E at the top of the treble clef, my voice buzzes sometimes, and so I'm just happier singing alto. I'm just happier, like I can get a stronger tone, I can get a better tone, I just have more control in my alto range. So I can get up higher. I think I can sing up to like a G, but it doesn't sound great kind of thing.
Well, so you can move the question so it's not on your face.
Oh, I can move the question so it's not on my face. Chris is so full of good ideas. This is why I keep him around. He's awesome. So there you go. Great value insulated cups are the best. What is that? What is that in reference to? Oh, for water bottles. Water bottles. Okay. Here's the thing with water bottles is this is the first one I've gotten with a straw in a long time because I don't like straws. But if you pull the straw out, it has a little flap underneath so it prevents it from spilling, not stealing. My water bottle is going to steal from me. It prevents it from spilling so that you can still like knock it over and it should be fine. I've yet to put it in a bag because that worries me. But then I have to hold the straw around or I have to figure out how to open this really hard to open latch here. Like you can drink out of it like that, but it's hard to open. But yeah, great value insulated cups. Okay. I take your word for it. Take your word for it, Mike. Here's the thing is I used to be in the camp of like just have a water bottle, like a cheap water bottle, but then I moved to Florida and it's humid and it spills water everywhere if I put ice in it and stuff. So because of condensation. So I am now on board with the super, super insulated water bottles. As a dietarian librarian, don't I need to know what the hot ones coming in are? Honestly, Tom decides everything about what's coming in and out of the library. So I obviously have stuff that I want to push and be like, yes, we need this in there. But he makes most of those decisions. It's his baby. It's his baby. So he's not going to pass those rights off to me anytime soon, even if I were super into all the hot games and stuff. He loves the library. It's his personal collection, and I think he wants it to stay his personal collection. But that's a question for him. Bum, 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 bum. Oh yeah, it's Spark Riders. That's what I'm painting right now. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so Spark Riders. Mike, did you paint the tiny little pieces? Because those tiny little pieces are hard to paint. Tom wanted them just like washed. And of course, washing means that you have to still prime it and you still have to like do stuff to it. So I've now painted them on blue and I'm figuring that out. I need, if anyone knows a really good clear primer, that's something that I need because I tried using a couple different clear primers and paint didn't stick to it. So it didn't work the way that a paint-based primer works. So that would be great. That would be absolutely great if anybody knows any really good clear primers, because there are so many times that like I just want to throw a wash on something, but if I throw a wash on just plain plastic, it's going to beat up. It's not going to work right? I don't have anything cool on my shirt to display. Oh, Chris is taller than me too. That's probably why it was like higher. Also, I realized I'm on the live stream computer. So this is not on my personal laptop. That's why I'm back here. Okay, Kabuki, you're not singing along to much music, so that's fair. That's fair. Like that is for me. It's funny because Chris and I both listen to music differently, and we've talked about this, about how he listens a lot to what it would be like to play a song, like to play the guitar and that kind of stuff on the song, whereas I think about singing it and I think about how much fun it would be to sing. And so I'm 100% okay with the songs that are like one chord, another chord, another chord, while you're singing something in between, whereas like Chris has listened to that and he's like, this sounds so boring to play. Or even worse, like dung 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 dung. You know what I mean? Those like super repetitive ones. I'm like, yeah, that's my jam, because I can sing anything to that, right? You can sing anything you want to that. Is this a litmus test for relationships? You know, very few couples who are still together that like the same music. That's fair. There's so much time you can listen to music on your own, right? There's headphones, there's the car rides, there's all of that. So it works. As long as you're okay with each other's music, at least a little bit. I assume it's fine. Have I a chance to play harmonies yet? I don't know if we got this one in. I've been looking at it on the BGG Hotness. I've seen it on there, but I don't think we got this in yet. Or if we did, I just don't know about it. Because once again, not cold to the new. People who like the 90% dark chocolate bars. Okay, here's the thing, is that I really enjoy those bitter notes that come with the 90% dark chocolate, but it is extremely waxy feeling. So I can genuinely eat it and enjoy it because I like all those rich tones, but I can't eat it while I'm cold because then it's all waxy and my mouth doesn't melt it enough to appreciate all those subtle notes. One time I was like drinking some cold water or something and my mouth was cold, and then I ate a piece of that and I was like, well, this is just nasty tasty wax. So it does depend. Ew, that sounds terrible. Cadbury nacho cheese eggs? That's not what I'm saying, okay? That's not what I'm saying when I'm saying cheese and chocolate. Not nacho cheese. Nacho cheese has like jalapeno-ness to it and you've got chips and stuff. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I just want plain cheese, room temperature, with plain chocolate, room temperature. There we go. That's what I want. I want the full flavor melt effect. Oh, you know what? You know the breakfast video where I like crack the egg and all the pieces fall out? I should have that with a Cadbury cream egg. Someone should remake that. Is anybody good at making videos? You should remake that one as a, what do you call that? Like a spoof. Oh, coffee on Horrified. Oh, coffee gets out of nothing too. It just permanently smells and permanently stains. So much anxiety over Coke. Yeah, dripping Coke on games is terrible. Does honey belong to bagel? Like, do you put honey on bagels? No, I don't put honey on bagels. I don't put honey on a lot of things. Honey is a very specific flavor, and I don't love that flavor by itself. It's good mixed with peanut butter because peanut butter is a strong flavor. I'm okay with honey butter on things, but I mostly just want sugar and butter. Like sugar and butter versus honey and butter would be the same to me. Honey's just easier to mix. Okay, Kabuki Kid, you're the opposite. Not a fan of Monterey Jack, but you love cheddar, nice and sharp. Oh, no, I don't like my cheddar sharp either. Les, we've got ghost pepper cheese. Pepper Jack is only okay to me. I feel like I like plain Jack melted, like in a burrito or something. Plain Jack is delicious. Or enchiladas. That's the cheese I want in enchiladas. I want it to be Jack. Just plain Jack though, not pepper Jack. All about the cheese, baby. Ooh, yes, top 10 cheeses. There's not that many cheeses I know. I probably know 10 cheeses, right? There's a bunch of cheeses I haven't tried. I had a friend that worked for a little bit at a cheese, the cheese aisle of the deli, but I met her after she was done working there, so it's not like I got free cheeses. But I feel like I learned a little bit about cheese from her, and I'll proceed to not tell you any of that because I've forgotten it all. But I do remember that I tried a couple cheeses based on her recommendation, and I was like, this is cool. Oh, also, I like goat cheese. Goat cheese is really good on pizza. Goat cheese on pizza, baby. Not as the main cheese, as like a topping. Like goat cheese and sun-dried tomatoes, so good. Blue cheese is delicious. I like blue cheese. Gruyere, Gruyere, I always forget how to pronounce this. Gruyere cheese. I feel like I've tried it and it's okay, but I have to be in a place for it. That's the thing, is a lot of those stinky cheeses, I'm okay with if it's in the proper place or it has something to go with it to balance out that flavor. I don't want to just eat that cheese. I want like a piece of meat with it or something, like something delicious to go with it. OC and Loopy loves Gruyere. Someone pronounce that for me. If you said it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely it. I know what you're talking about, but I can't pronounce it from the word. Have I made queso made with white Velveeta cheese and Rotel tomatoes? I've had Rotel salsa, or like cheese dip that people have made, so probably. I don't think it was white though. I feel like it was not white. But I remember it being good, so it's probably fine. Let's see. I don't know why Chris has issues, because he's awesome. He doesn't have issues. Okay, when I inevitably find games with missing pieces after conventions, how do I replace them? Do I contact the publisher? Does Dice Tower just have a big stash of extra pieces? The answer is all the above, yes. Tom just has this wall of little mini drawers full of pieces, so if I can find something that's replaceable there, yes. But a lot of those are very specific, so I do try to contact publishers. Sometimes that's not an option. If it's in the Asmodee realm, it's like gone. There's no hope. If it's a really popular game, we might just buy a new copy. Like Heat, we replaced the cards for Heat. We just got a new copy because we couldn't get replacement cards for that. So it just really depends on where they come from, but I have contacted lots of publishers to get pieces. Sometimes they'll give me specific ones. It just all depends. But yeah, that's all the mail that I get here at the Dice Tower is just game pieces. So if my name's on it, it's a game piece, basically. Also, if you ever come to our conventions, please, when you check in a game, let us know what's missing. And if you ever run as a volunteer to one of our conventions, please don't pull games out that you think are broken. Just leave them in the library. I'll take care of them after the con. Have I ever passed on a game because it was too expensive only to regret it afterwards? I don't know about regretting it afterwards, but there's definitely games that Chris and I bought secondhand because we thought they were too expensive and we didn't expect to like them enough for it to be worth it. The two examples for that I can think of are Gloomhaven. We didn't know if we would like Gloomhaven or not. It sounded really cool and everybody loved it. And so we passed on buying it just because we don't buy a lot of games. And it was a very high price point. And then we found it used for $40 while it was still pretty new and hot. I mean, Jaws of the Lion hadn't come out yet or even close to coming out. Frosthaven wasn't a thought yet. So it was still pretty early on, and we played that copy a bunch. So that was a really good deal I found. Would I have regretted it if I'd never played it? I don't know. That's a good question. And then the other one was Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin was pretty expensive, and then it also seemed like an excessively large game, and so Chris and I were like, well, we found someone that was selling it for $40. We're like, okay, well, we'll buy it for $40, we'll flip it if we don't like it, and we'll use it for a review for our podcast. And we bought it, we played it, and it's like one of my favorite games of all time, and has been for basically since I played it. So would I have regretted that? Yeah, probably if I played it later and been like, I could have owned this earlier. But then I also wonder if I hadn't owned it and hadn't played it at that time, would it have the same effect as it has now in being so high on my list? Like, it's so hard at this point for games to punch through and be amazing. because I've played so many games and I'm playing so many of the hotter, newer games. So the question is would it have made as big of an impact at this point in my life if I was introduced to it for the first time? I wonder about that. Let's see. What states and countries have I been to? Okay, I have been to, are we counting layovers? We're not counting layovers because I've been to like Oregon on a layover, but I don't think that counts. So I've been to Washington State, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. I drove through New Mexico on the way here, Texas, Mississippi. Are we counting my drive through here, Georgia? I think we made a few different things. I don't remember what all we went through. Louisiana, Florida. I lived a little bit in Maryland. I visited DC. I visited Massachusetts. I visited Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia. I think that's all the states. I think I covered all of the ones that I visited. I've only ever lived in Maryland, Las Vegas, West Virginia, and Florida. Those are the only ones I've ever like spent any more like not owned, but like lived in a residence during. Countries, the only countries I've visited have been on cruises. So Jamaica, Haiti, Bahamas, basically. That's Mexico and Honduras, I think we visited as well. But I feel like that doesn't really count because you're off the boat for like 2 seconds. And we're not really brave. We don't go out and get excursions and do all the fancy stuff like that because, well, one, we're working the cruises, but then two, I'm afraid to just jump in someone's cab and be like, take me somewhere cool. I'm not brave enough. Not with my daughter. I'm not brave enough for that. This just makes me chuckle. Thanks, DJ Dan. Oh, this is why Taylor Swift doesn't have board games. She hates it when people make a mess on nice things. That's cute. Let's see. Okay, there's a liquid clear matte varnish that you can use, or Army Pamer matte varnish rattle cans. Can you use the matte varnish as a base? Like, will it stick to the plastic the same? Because that seems weird as a primer to use a varnish. It also seems like it would have I guess if it's matte, it wouldn't beat up as bad. The contrast paints wouldn't beat on it as bad. That's interesting. Okay, any video games I'm enjoying right now? Well, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft with my daughter lately. We are currently making a Minecraft amusement park. So I made a carousel. It doesn't spin, but I have a bunch of different like zombie horses and stuff attached to it, and they keep hopping off the edge. So I had to make it wider because they would hop off the edge and then they wouldn't be on the carousel. And I was like, So I made it wider, and I guess we're making this one food themed. So it's a cherry carousel. It's a giant cherry, and then I have like a little stem coming out the top. That's what we're working on right now. It'll change in 2 days. We with my daughter and I, we start a lot of Minecraft things. We're like, let's make this thing. She comes up with an idea. We make it for a little bit, and then she gets bored and we move on. But that's like our mother-daughter time. What else have I been playing? I'm still working on the Final Fantasy 15, the buddy car ride thing together. What else am I working on? I finished everything but the last boss in Horizon Zero Dawn. This is a habit I have. I never finish games. I get all the way up until the end, like the literal end. Like I have one more thing to do and I'm going to win the game basically. And then I give up. I don't give up. I just move on because I want to be able to come back and play it. And I know if I beat it, then I can't go in and play it and explore that world anymore. So that's why. Any advice for new board game reviewers? I would say be true to yourself. Be honest about how you feel, and take some good time to think about the games that you play and dig into why you like things, why you don't like things. Know yourself, basically. Know yourself and use that to help you explain why you like games. But that's just my style. So that's my advice. Also, also pace yourself. I know I went through pretty intense burnout. So we did our podcast for like 4 years, and there was definitely a point where I was like sick of learning new games, and I just wanted to play something that I knew and loved. And I was like, oh, it requires a different mental load to learn a new game than it does to sit down and play a game you've played before. So I definitely got new game burnt out for a while, and being able to step away for a little bit and kind of recoup, play some games that you love, and like remember, that you love the hobby and what you like about it, and play some of those games that are great long time evergreens for you and require less of that frontal upload speed skill brainness. That's my suggestion. Okay, honey and cheese go well together. Do you pour the honey on your cheese? Like, why honey? Do you dip your cheese in the honey? Do you put the cheese on bread with honey, like a peanut butter honey sandwich, but instead it's a cheese and honey sandwich? I don't understand how that works. Honey and wild rice. Okay, I understand that wild rice is not actually real rice technically, but why is wild rice so expensive? I don't know why it's so expensive. It's super healthy, right? Why? This I want to know why. Is it gain too high in the mic? But it seems uber sensitive. Somebody just feels like I'm noticed. Okay, well, I don't know why. Sorry, it's uber sensitive. There are approximately 2,000 types of cheese. Wow, that's a lot of cheese. Some cheeses depend on how long they age or how they age or other content of other things. I would love to learn about cheese making. Like if I went to a cheese making factory and just had a tour, that would be so cool. That would be great. What is brown cheese? Goat cheese an acquired taste? Yes, goat cheese is an acquired taste. And an acquired smell too, apparently. Okay, the history of Wendy Yi in a couple minutes. I was born in California. I moved to Vegas when I was 2, and my parents did childcare in our house. They did it together. My dad was retired Navy. I was like the last of a bunch of kids from a bunch of different marriages kind of thing. So I was the last one. I was raised with 2 of my nieces. One was my age, one was younger than me. So even though I was the youngest child, I was not the youngest child kind of thing. One of those weird like family things. So yeah, I grew up in a childcare. Love babies. I love babies so much. They're so squishy and their feet are fat and their cheeks. Oh, I love it. I love baby cheeks. Love chunky babies. So I love babies a ton. So yeah, I always grew up with kids. I worked with kids forever, for ages and ages and ages. And then I did music forever and ever and ever and ages and ages. You know what I mean? I always sang in choirs. I always did all of that. And then I got to college and I realized that I didn't have to do either one anymore. And I discovered I liked doing other things too. And that was pretty cool. So I stopped doing music in like a choir, and I taught myself piano in college, and I joined leadership things, and I got to be on like the school senate, and I did lots of fun other stuff that was non-music related. I got my degree in interpersonal communication with a minor in business, which basically means I took like a 301 class in each of the main business subjects like marketing and accounting and whatever. So I took like a single class. So it was what it was. It's good for life skills. So basically my college degree is great for life skills, right? I have interpersonal skills, so working with relationships, problem solving within my marriage has been awesome. All that kind of stuff, really enjoy that. And then someday I hope maybe to go back to school once my daughter's all grown up, and because she's one of my main focuses right now. But when she's grown up, maybe I'll go back to school and either get a psychologist degree, like a master's degree, or marriage and family therapy, something in that field, because I just find psychology stuff fascinating. But I'm not in a point in life where I feel like that would be wise to do it right now. I think that I wouldn't be able to put my whole heart into it. And so in the future, maybe that's would be what I do. Also, I might not, who knows? Who knows who Wendy is going to be in a decade? Wendy could be Wendy could be somebody else. Wendy could be Shirley in a decade. Who knows? Anything could happen. Let's see. Parmigiano Reggiano is the king of cheese. Ooh, I've been on a, sorry, speaking of cheese again, this is all about cheese. I started growing fresh basil in my tomato plant tote that I have in my backyard. So I've been having tomatoes and basil and fresh mozzarella lately with that like caprese salad thing. And then I got some of that balsamic syrup vinegar. That's so good. Oh, that combination's been amazing. It's been so good. That's been like my tasty treat lately. Let's see, scrolling down. Kraft singles for cheeseburgers. Okay. Kraft singles is terrible. You gotta go, you have to get that, what is it called? The deluxe. You have to get deluxe cheese. So it's still in the cheese, like near the Kraft singles, but you have to get the deluxe because then it's creamier and it melts better and it's still processed cheese, but it tastes better. Do I like Splendor or Point City better? I think I like Splendor better because I think the engine building in it is just more straightforward. So I feel like it has longer legs. Point City I really enjoy, but I find it to be fiddly a little bit with the trying to remember which card is supposed to be which side. You know, do I replace it with the opposite side card? Which one was which? So I enjoy them both, but I think that Splendor is overall a cleaner game than Point City. But Point City's fun, and our daughter really likes Point City, which is cool because you know how kids sometimes they tend to gravitate towards like the really pretty games or the really IP games, you know, I mean, they have their taste. But Point City, our daughter really likes, and I don't think she's won ever, but she still likes it. So that to me is really cool because I like it, and I think Chris is just okay with it. So it's one of those that because our daughter likes it, I get to play it more kind of thing. So that's fun. Who have I been a total fangirl on? Does Phil Walker Harding count? I finally met him at Gen Con last year. He's the one that I like to follow his games. I, in general, have never been a big fangirl. I've never been one of those people that's like, oh, I want to meet somebody. Oh my goodness, this person touched my hand. Oh my goodness, my Stanley water bottle. I've never been that person. So, but I was really happy to meet Phil Walker Harding. I also met Shem Phillips last year at Gen Con 2, and that was cool because we actually like sat down and talked for a while, whereas Phil was more like a hi, goodbye kind of moment. So Shem was really cool. Shem's very cool. I'm very impressed by him. But yeah, those are probably the two people fangirled on. It's funny because I really like Fister, but I'm not fangirl. Like, I don't know, if I met him, that would be cool, but I'm not like, oh, Fister, Fister, Fister. So maybe I should be. Maybe I should be a Fister fan. More Kraft singles people. Why? Why the Kraft singles? Okay. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Name a game set in a real place that you love to play in that place. I would love to travel back in time to New York 1901, and play New York 1901 there. That would be cool. Very cool. No, I haven't been to Rhode Island. I went to Massachusetts on like a choir trip in high school, so that's why I went up there. We did some cool tours. I got to see some of the like witch stuff, which honestly I was disappointed that it was so touristy. I wanted it to be like cool and old-fashioned looking still, and they had gift shops everywhere. It's always sad how industry ruins some things like that. Top trip or travel destination on my bucket list. I definitely want to see the Northern Lights. Yes, definitely that. In fact, Chris and I were looking up how to see them, and apparently you can get these see-through bubbles. Like you can just rent out see-through bubbles in the middle of a forest, and I guess trees are all around for privacy, because that would be weird to just be in a completely see-through bubble. It would be nice if it had like the light switch that you could turn off, like turn on and off the clarity of it. But yeah, it's just a bubble that you can sleep in, and it's like blown, like there's air blowing in it, so it's like a puffed up bubble to stay warm. That sounds cool. But yeah, Northern Lights would be really fun. I think it would be fun to go to Australia someday. I want to see the Sydney Opera House. I want to try the weird Australian foods. I want to see if my toilet actually spins backwards, you know, all those important things. So I think Australia would be fun to visit. Europe, obviously, traveling through Europe would be really cool. Korea is another place I really want to visit. So Chris's family's from there. I watch a lot of Korean dramas. And so just being able to really see that world and try all the street food, that would be amazing. If I dilute the liquid matte varnish enough, it should work. Okay, I'll try that. I will try that in my color, see if that helps with, yeah, just washing things, because it takes so much more time to paint it and then rewash it and all that jazz. Let's see. Okay, I missed part of this conversation, Kabuki Kid. The short version of the story is that your aunt got shaken down by the cops when she was in college, and they're driving through Georgia, and there's a family phobia of Georgia ever since. Okay, woo, that's intense. Feast for Odin. Okay, yeah, Feast for Odin, it looks super intimidating, but it's an amazing game, and it's got like 85 or some odd action spaces, but they're so well laid out that it's all logical to teach. Like, it's not this big bear that it looks like. It looks massive. Well, honestly, it doesn't even look massive compared to all the games that are coming out today. So many giant boxes, it's ridiculous. Let's see. I used to play Diablo 2, does that count? I used to play it in high school. I also played StarCraft a lot in high school. I did that online though, on battle.net. Played that a ton. Let's see. Okay, Kabuki Kid, they milk open world games too. Yeah. Okay, I've been feeling this about open world games, and I don't know if it's just that the tropes have now become tropes, but I feel like I'm disappointed with every open world game I play these days. There's not enough interesting things to do. It's like, they're like, okay, we go on quests and we fight things, and I feel like they all do the same thing. Like, I want something that, combat's always a little different, but once I figure out combat, like, I want something that's really different. Like, I remember playing Skyrim and being like, wow, there's so much different, so much unique, interesting stuff that I can do. And I want more of that. Breath of the Wild, same thing. Like, they just felt like they were just creating a new genre, and it was awesome. And I feel like everyone else just kind of copies and makes a couple changes, and obviously the world is different, but I want mechanics. I want new mechanics in my open world games, and I want a lot of new mechanics. I want it to be really different. So anyways, that's my rant on that. All right, well, it looks like it's just about time. Did we do anything on May the 4th? We did not, but we did tell our daughter about it. Does that count? I've celebrated May the 4th other days, but oh, I like this one right here. Okay, I'm the first reviewer to admit that I've had new game burnout. I think it's more common than admitted. I think it's 100% common, but I also think that it depends on personality type. I don't think Chris has ever experienced new game burnout. I highly doubt Tom has experienced new game burnout. Just recognizing their personality type versus my personality type, I could see that. All right, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. There's tons of questions out there, but thanks for talking about cheese with me. That was awesome. Thank you for explaining how non-trendy I am with my cup. Cold water. And yeah, I hope you all just have an absolutely fabulous week. We've got more top 10s. We've got some awesome live stuff coming up this week, so check all of that out. Also, just for some side announcements, because I forgot to mention these at the beginning, we have the Jack Vassal auction going on right now on that Board Game Geek page. So if you want to donate to that in any way, or to purchase any games from that, all that kind of stuff, it's all, most of that money, like most of it, goes towards needy families in the board gaming field. So people that love board games that also have needs. So it's a great fund for that. And then also, I think we have Dice Tower East merch, like the shirts and stuff are on sale right now. I think this is the best price that you can get for it. I think the prices go up from here. So if you're interested in getting a sweatshirt or a shirt or anything like that, there's information on the Dice Tower East page on how to do that. So anyways, thanks for joining me today. I'm Wendy Yi, and have fun eating your cheese. Let's go ahead and hit out.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower. Hey, do you want to know what's going on with Dice Tower? Do you want to know about our events, our cruises, special things that we're going to do live here in the Dice Tower? Subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Go to dicetowerdigest.com. It's a newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. We won't use your email for anything else. This is just to get you some information about the Dice Tower so you'll be up to date. Thanks for watching.